What up, Baba?
Hey.
Baba's back.
Oh, yes, I am.
Baba.
Yep.
What'd you think?
Rocky 4.
Rocky 4.
You know, I started to take notes on it, and I was like, oh, no, I get it now. This is an experience. This is not a movie.
It's the greatest movie of all time. It's not a movie. It's not.
It's not a movie.
It's the greatest movie of all time. There's only a couple movies in this category, my nigga. It ain't a category for everybody.
I know.
Should be in the Oscars, by the way.
I know. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, exactly. It's like one of those like, oh, this is fun every time it comes on because it's crazy.
Yep.
I mean, that being said, I'm okay if I never watch it again. But I get it.
What? Yeah. Tell me. It's first before. What did I miss? Yeah, we'll start with it. What did I miss? Anything I missed? Anything?
You didn't really emphasize.
Yeah.
I felt like you emphasized the robot wrong.
What do you mean?
'Cause, like, we don't have anything that looks like that now.
Happy birthday, Polly.
Yeah. And it's just chilling in the 80s. And you're very nonchalant about it. I could not get over.
I had to get through the Cold War, my nigga.
Oh, man. There was a lot of themes, I guess, going on in this. A lot of themes. But I just get, like, from the studio executive to Sylvester Stallone.
I think they were all Stallone. By the way, all the things I think you're about to name. But go ahead.
Yeah. To Sylvester Stallone, to the key grip,
Who also was.
it was also probably Stallone. All was like, this robot's a good idea. This robot's happening.
We're keeping in the robot. Keeping in the butt. Man, hey, it's incredible. Anything? Yeah, I didn't bring it up a lot. Also when he changed it to a sexy voice. And then later on, they're like arguing. He's like, "It's busting my balls." It's like, oh yeah, he's fucking this thing.
Yeah, he's fucking the robot.
He is definitely fucking this robot.
100% fucking the robot. I love it. Hey, let Paulie get some.
But Rocky 4 was the first original Westworld, nigga.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So everybody needs to respect.
I'm really curious as to what the fuck the first 3 Rockies are about. Yeah,
it's all about different wars. The first one is the war against Britain.
Okay. Oh, it's a Revolutionary War. Oh, it's like that. Yeah.
And then
And there's always some version of a robot there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Makes sense. I get it now. I get the series. I don't think we need to watch them. You know what's funny? At one point, you were talking about how when they were on the stairs, like Rocky and his wife, and they're arguing. And Rocky says something at the end.
Oh, you're talking about when she says a great line.
Yeah.
She says, "You can't win, Rocky."
Yeah. And then you said you have no idea what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went back and I watched that part with subtitles and I still have no idea what he's
You can't win, Rocky.
And he's like, but he's boy, I got a heart of a champion. If he doesn't have a heart of a champion.
That's what he said.
I'm
a champion.
Yeah.
I got a heart.
He doesn't have a heart.
Yeah. You got no heart. I got all the heart.
Yeah.
I got heart.
Yeah. And I got a punch with the best of them. And he's the best of them.
I'm about to drive. I'm going to drive a long time. And I'm going to listen to a song.
Also,
I'm going to think about all the other things that has happened to me.
Also, where the fuck is he going?
What do you mean, where's he going?
That's a long drive.
Russia.
Where is he going? He's driving to Russia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's driving over water.
He might as well have been.
He's the most badass person. Yo, how shredded are these niggas? I'm telling you, in that fight scene, in the last bout when they're about to fight in Russia, and they take off their robes, is that not crazy?
Yeah.
It's like a little over. It's like over. It's so overly done. If you saw a real boxer that looked like that, you'd be like, "That's not a fucking boxer."
The whole movie is overly over the top. What are you talking about? Where Apollo and him fight? What boxing promoter in his right mind would be like, "Let's have a stage production, and we'll have the ring come through the stage
and not tell." We're not gonna tell the Russian. Fuck that. He don't get to know. He doesn't get to know.
He's gonna come up to James Brown and a huge choreographed dance number.
Full song. Told you he did the whole song. How many full songs are in this?
I thought you were lying and you weren't lying. And they're all in the same tone. It's East versus West. Or man versus man. It's like, what?
East versus West. Hearts on fire. Cause there's no easy way out. That's all of them. That's all the songs.
Yeah.
Houston.
Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah, they're all the same tone, but yeah, they're all the whole. My favorite part is that they do a whole like montage where he's kind of doing okay, a whole song montage, and then Adrian shows up, and then it's just a whole nother montage, a whole song. So in between montages, you had maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah,
maybe, and then it was just another montage. But he's doing better now. It's a
better.
Yeah, it's almost like they've become self-aware. They're like, we can't show him get better in one montage. No, we have to show a bad montage and then a better montage.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, we need more montage.
Even though he was working out, I mean, and he was helping people in Russia.
Yeah.
That guy with the buggy.
Yeah. Well, what the?
That was pretty cool of you.
He was just in a place with 2 cabins. Like he's helping all these people, but there's only 2 cabins.
Yeah. Great. Greatest movie. Yo, he kills Apollo Creed. He fucking
murders him for no reason.
Ref.
Right? Where was the ref on that?
How does it get past the half of the first round?
How does he because he hit, what? And then he lets him, he hits him while he's on the ground.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yo, man, it's a...
Also, nobody plays defense.
Well, you've never seen a Rocky movie.
Oh, they never play defense? I don't know. Again, I don't know why I expected it to be about boxing. It's
not about boxing.
That's on me at this point.
Yeah, there's nobody's ever watched a Rocky movie and be like, man, the fucking defensive techniques that Balboa and Mr. T. I can't believe. Oh my god! Hey,
the forearm on.
Yeah, you know
Ivan Drago.
That's how the Oscar De La Hoya learned to box. They had him sit down and watch Mr. T. No, bro, it's not about that. It's about fucking a lot of things.
Oscar De La Hoya.
East versus West.
Man versus man. That's the best song. That's definitely
I told
the
you,
best song.
they wrote that song for Rocky IV.
They had to have.
No, hold on. If they didn't, so you're telling me, yo, think about that, my nigga. Yeah. If they didn't write the song for Rocky IV,
that means there was a power ballad about the Cold War.
Just straight up.
Yeah.
That somebody wrote a power ballad about the Cold War.
Yeah.
A power ballad. A fucking power ballad.
It's the 80s and we're America. Don't put it above us. Don't put it above us. Oh, man. Also,
you're right.
Rocky, congratulations on solving the Cold War.
Yo,
you solved it.
If I can change. And you can change.
And then in the... No, but here's what's crazy about that, right? So the line is, if I can change, then you can change, then we all can change, right?
Everybody can change.
Oh, and then everybody can change, right? My bad. I'm sorry. I offended somebody.
The script writers.
Yeah.
My nigga.
Yeah, my bad. So if
I got your back.
then everybody, or whatever, we all, whatever, right? Obviously, the cheer is supposed to come at the end.
Yeah.
Right? But the cheer comes in the middle of that, and it makes no sense.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to go, if I can change, you can change, we all can change. But instead it goes, if I can change, you can change. Then
everybody can change.
Everyone in the world knows that there's another thing coming.
Yeah.
They made this movie.
They did.
They made this movie.
Glad they did. One of the best movies. I love this movie. Thank you guys for making it.
It was fun. Again, I don't care if
it is fun.
It is fun. It is fun.
It's fun.
It's ridiculous.
It's exactly what it is.
It made me laugh out loud a couple times. Just out of the pure ridiculousness of it.
You also have seen all the other Rockies in one montage.
Kind of. I can get what's going on, I think.
How crazy is this to see? You started with Rocky IV.
Right.
He's never seen any of the other Rockies.
Right.
He's only seen Rocky IV. To start with Rocky IV, and did you know the first Rocky won a bunch of Oscars?
Yeah, I knew that's like the movie that all the cheesy stuff is sort of comes from. Like everything that's cheesy started in Rocky IV. Like it was like the first Rocky. Like it was like a groundbreaking movie.
But isn't that to imagine? Because you haven't seen the first one.
Yeah.
Imagine that in that world that you saw, there's an Oscar. There's an Oscar in there.
That's funny.
A couple of them. Multiple Oscars are in that world.
Hopefully, the robot got one.
Oh yeah, well no, Robot won one for Rocky IV.
Okay.
Also, the performance was flawless, man. I love this movie. Rocky motherfucking IV, man.
We're done.
Hearts on fire.
Hearts on fire. East versus West, man.
East versus
West. East versus West.
Ehsan.
What's up?
Yo, bro.
Let's get this next movie going.
You excited?
Yes, I'm excited.
I'm very excited for this one.
All right.
Ehsan Ahmad,
Yes.
what happens in I Am Legend?
Okay. Shit. We're in New York City, land of dreams. And,
True. So you already, you know what?
Yeah.
You're right so far.
Yeah.
I'll give you that, buddy.
You know, and we start with Will Smith, who's on the run. He's running, and he's got a dog with him. I know a dog is in this movie, and people are sad. So the dog, at some point, probably dies. You know what? The dog always dies. The dog always dies. What am I saying? I needed to talk to other people to know that. The dog dies. All right? We'll start right there. The dog definitely dies. But he's running from these zombie-like creatures that I guess you don't see the creatures yet. They're just stalking him. And he's running, and they start like attacking him, and he's able to fight them away. And then you see him, and that's just a day in his life. Just to fight these zombies. He was doing a task, maybe going to the store, depositing a check. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do in post-apocalyptic times. Right? He's the only human around that he knows of, I think. So he probably spends most of his days like trying to see if he can talk to other people. He probably has a radio he checks in on every once in a while. And then it's just him being a solitary dude, going from place to place. He probably has like a safe spot. He probably runs like at the beginning like a safe place, but then eventually that gets overrun because he does something stupid. Some random set of coincidences happen, and it exposes his spot. Yeah, and then he has to keep. Don't talk to me like I'm a child.
No, you've clearly seen a lot of movies. Yeah. You've clearly seen a lot of other movies that weren't these movies on this podcast.
Yeah. And then what it is, he's just surviving. He probably gets in a car at one point that breaks down.
How do you think it ends, buddy?
How do you think it ends? The dog dies, and then he's like, I have nothing to live for, and he lets himself be eaten by the zombie things.
What a badass ending.
Yeah, right?
That's a badass ending. I like yours.
Oh, okay. Does the ending suck?
No, I mean, but your ending's just... That's still, your ending could be the ending. You don't know. Your ending could be the ending. That's a great ending, what you just said.
Yeah, I think.
I also like that you know nothing and I'm not giving you anything.
I know, right? This makes me feel bad.
Good.
All right.
Fucking idiot. All right.
Why?
Here's a college degree. Fuck this nigga. I spent my time watching movies. And who did it work out for, baby? I'm on this side of the podcast table.
I mean, it's
the side that's seen the movie. Yeah. Not the retarded side. We need teams.
Right. No, yeah. Well, my team is obviously the best.
Yeah, fuck you.
All right. How does this movie
ready,
start?
buddy?
Yes.
I love this movie.
Okay. You love every movie, though, so that doesn't mean much.
Fair. Very fair.
Yeah.
Movie starts.
Okay.
Voiceover. News. It's like sports news. Right? It's like, like they're showing like the touchstone pictures and like all shit, right?
Yeah.
And it's sports news playing. Like, this week Kobe Bryant raped some chick. Or dropped 80 points.
Yeah, I don't think you know what sports are.
He said one of the things.
Okay.
And then they're like, so, blah, blah, blah. They're talking about sports. And then they're like, we're going to cut to a live taping of one of our, sports, one of our lady newscasters who's talking to Dr., British lady.
Okay, Dr. British Lady.
She's going to be talking to Dr. British Lady.
Classic character.
All right,
in all
and then
movies.
it cuts to like the real movie.
Okay.
It cuts to like the movie now. So now we're in the movie. And it's an interview. It's a black lady and she's interviewing. She's like, Doctor, how has, the cure that you've been, trying to come up with, how's it been working out? And she was like, so far, everything's been working out amazing so far, and she explains what the virus is. And she's like, imagine, a bad man in a car and he's driving 100 miles an hour on a freeway and how much damage that bad man can do. Mm-hmm. Now replace that bad man with, say, a police officer and imagine, the rest. Imagine how much good he could do. So that's what that was like the philosophy for her thing, right?
Okay.
And then she was like, okay, well, how has it been working so far? And she's like, well, so far we've treated 10,009 patients. And she was like, and how many have pulled through? And she was like, 10,009. And she was like, so you're saying you've cured cancer? And she was like, yes, we've cured cancer. Black. 3 years later.
Oh God, everyone's zombies.
So 3 years later, it's a wide shot of New York.
Yeah.
Completely abandoned. Like not a sound, not anything, just abandoned New York City, dog. It looks like ruins, right?
Okay.
They're showing all these cool shots of all these different places in New York, and it looks really cool, just completely abandoned, right? And then it's a wide overhead shot of a fucking red Mustang. And it's just flying through New York, right?
Right.
And then they zoom in, and we meet our lead, bro. Will goddamn Smith, baby.
Ooh, okay. Mustang Smith. I like Mustang Smith.
He's got a gun in his hand, like in his lap, like a Call of Duty gun.
Right.
Like a motherfucking like.
Wait, what does that mean? Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
okay,
a fucking gun, nigga.
Okay, so with range.
Yes.
Yeah, he can fuck some
like
shit
an
up from far
AR
away.
rifle type motherfucking thing, right?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So he's got that on the lap, and he's driving. He's got kind of a serious face, and then he's got his dog Samantha.
Oh, his dog's name's Samantha?
Dog's named Samantha. Shout out to Sam, Boo Boo. You know what I'm saying? Boop. So she's got the dog Samantha sitting next to her, you know? And he's like, you know, what do you see? What do you see? So what you see? What you see, right? And they're driving, and then all of a sudden, you see just a herd of deer, and they start flying, and he whips it into gear, and now he's chasing the deer, right? And he's fucking chasing these deer through New York City, bro.
Okay.
And it's fucking like crazy cool shots, right?
Yeah.
And then like he pulls the gun out kind of on the window, and he's kind of looking at it like trying to get a shot, and he's like, and then he changes his mind, he doesn't take a shot, and then he busts a right, and then he busts a left, and then and he hits like a dead end, right? And then the deer kind of go running.
Yeah.
And right, so he kind of looks at that, and then he gets out, and it's another shot of him, and they're like creeping through tall grass, and he's got the gun. You know what I'm saying? He's creeping through tall grass, dog's with him, and he says something to the dog, and the dog stops like immediately. Like the dog's clearly like crazy trained.
Okay.
Crazy.
Well, yeah, so they're surviving in this.
Yeah, if it's
world.
yeah. So he gets closer up on the deer, right? And then he sees one. It's just one, and then he kind of busts around a corner, and then he gets all the way up on it, like right up on it, and he pulls up his gun, and he's about to get the shot, and right as he's about to get the shot, motherfucking lion eats this motherfucker, man.
Just out of nowhere?
A lion. Like a lion. He's close. I'm talking about, bro, barely a little farther away than me because he gets up all right up on it, dog. He creeps all the way up on it. It's a really like a cool scene. And lion just fucking, and he's sitting there. He's got the gun on the lion. He's still got the gun on the lion. He's not like backing off yet. He's kind of just looking pissed. And then he looks to the right and like the lion's family walks up. Like it's 2 cubs and another fucking lion with the I guess the father lion because the women lion hunt.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah, bro. Nigga be knowing some shit, you know? So motherfucking lion comes out and he's got like the gun on him and he puts the gun on the lion and he puts the gun on them and he puts the gun on the lion and he looks at the sun and then right as he looks at the sun, it goes beep, 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 beep. His watch goes off and he's like, let's go, Sam. He puts the gun down and him and Sam turn around and they just start sprinting to the car. Fade to black. I Am Legend. That's how the movie starts, nigga. So fucking dope. Back to his house.
Okay.
Go back to his house, right?
Yeah.
They live in this part of New York. You've been in New York. I ain't never been in New York. So people don't get mad at me that I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
Now, who's the idiot now? Deric. This side doesn't know what New York is.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
So
a lot of buildings I heard.
I've traveled.
Pizza.
I've traveled.
Yes, he's seen shit. All right. So in New York, these arches,
Yeah. Okay.
they're like, it's like an arch. It's like, not like arches, it's like one arch.
Okay.
He lives there. It's like a famous thing, though. If you saw it, you'd be like, oh, that's the arch.
Okay.
But to me, it's the arch from I Am Legend. That's how I would describe it.
Okay. So I'll recognize it when
You
I
would
see
be
it.
like, oh, it's some other thing.
Yeah.
But it's the arch from I Am Legend.
Okay.
So he lives there, and he gets home, and he like, right as he gets home, he opens the door, lets the dog run in, and then he has like a bunch of Lysol, and he kind of like, just
Sprays
Lysols sprays down the stoop
Okay.
leading into his house.
Okay.
Closes the door. Okay. He gets in the house, and his house full of generators. Generators everywhere, running everything.
Just keeping shit up.
Keeping shit, everything's running, but like everywhere. So he's got everything's going. Canned food, enough canned food for 3 lifetimes.
Okay.
Just stocked to the fucking rafters.
With food.
With everything. He's cooking food. He's watching old news. Like he's got the TV on and it's like news playing like of like whatever day. Like he's watching whatever. He's clearly got tapes of just
So
news.
that's how we learn what happens, pretty much, before. That's how we learn what happened to the world through his
no.
news. No.
No, he's watching like it's like fucking he's watching like Fox News, and they're like reporting on like Christmas Day, and they're like, "Look at all this snow today, Bob."
Okay.
Like he's watching like regular shit to feel normal.
Okay.
We're talking about basic news, nigga. Just the weather.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just, but like on a random day in New York. So that's what he's watching. He also like he's making all this food, and he goes like, "Ugh, disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. Just the way you like it." And he looks at Sam, and then he puts the dog in front, like the food in front of the dog, and then you realize, bro, he starts talking to this dog like a person. Like this dog, like he talks to the dog like a person, because he's like, eat your vegetables. He's like, I'm not playing. I'm not playing. You don't just push him around. You gonna eat them. We gonna sit here all night. I'm playing. We gonna sit there all night. You see me don't eat the vegetables. He's eating, right? Mm-hmm. And then the next scene, they're in the bathtub, and the dog's like kind of whimpering, and he's like, I told you, eat your vegetables. No, you didn't want to eat them. He's like, all right, we'll make a deal. Tomorrow, you're eating twice as many vegetables. Deal? No, deal? Okay. You know, and then like that's like, bro, it's cool. like it's real.
That fucks with you.
Yeah, nigga, 3 years.
Yeah, 3. That's how long he's been alone?
Yeah.
Damn, what happened?
Giving Sam a bath. So he cuts on a song. It's 3 Little Birds by Bob Marley.
Okay.
You know that song?
No.
Every little thing is gonna be all right. You woke up this morning. So that song. Right?
Okay.
So he starts playing. He's singing that, right? And he's kind of just giving him a bath. And as he's giving him a bath, his watch goes off again. And he kind of like freezes and like looks off. And everything kind of goes soundless. And then Sam starts barking, and it kind of barks him back into reality. And he's like, all right. And then the song keeps playing, like, every little thing is gonna be all right. Ooh. And the song keeps playing, and he's fucking starts shutting all like these fucking steel doors on all the windows, right? Like these steel, ching, ching, like locking it, like all these things, like every door, every window, every entrance to his house, like all these things, right? And the song's still playing. Every little thing.
Ooh, that's scary.
Is gonna be, yo, bro.
That's scary.
It's fucking intense.
That's
nigga.
Scary.
So everything's shutting. You know what I'm saying? And then right, like finally the music stops, right? It shuts the last thing, music stops, and it fades to black. Everything fades to black. And then everything cuts back on, like the camera cuts back to, and it's going up the stairs of his house, and it's all dark. It's completely nighttime now. It's all dark. And all you hear outside is like, just constant. You know what I'm saying?
That's
freaky. All you hear. And then the camera gets all the way up, and it's just him and Sam. They're in the bathtub, and he's got the gun, and they're just trying to sleep in the bathtub. And they're like, he's just sitting there, and he's just fucking like kind of paralyzed.
It still freaks him out to hear that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Man, he has to sleep in the bathtub?
Sleeps in the bathtub, bro.
God damn.
With the gun in the hand.
God damn. Doesn't even trust sleeping out in his actual house.
I mean, he sleeps in the house. I mean, in like, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like in like
not at night, not at middle of the nighttime, no.
No.
He's got his watch set up clearly, like everything's set up in increments.
Okay.
And you find that out more, you know what I mean?
Right.
But everything's set up clearly in like a distinct
so that
way.
means he probably misses an increment.
So, flashback.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? While he's in the flashback. It's Will Smith. He's a captain. He's like a military captain, right? Mm-hmm. And it's fucking like, you can tell the world's in like a panic. World's in a panic. Okay. And he picks up his daughter and his wife from that house that he's at. You know what I mean? From that house. And he's like, hey, you're going to your Aunt Sarah's. And they're like, what? What's going on? And he's like, his number 2, he's like, you got 30 minutes, Colonel. And she's like, 30 minutes? All right, we got to go. You get him in the car. And she's like, 30 minutes to what? And he's like, get in the car, get in the car. And he's like, they're sealing off the island. She's like, what? They're sealing off the island? And then they get in the car, they start driving. And he's like, did you bring the money? She's like, I mean, yeah, I grabbed $600. He goes, that's not enough. And he's like, okay. She's like, what do you mean that's not what? And then his daughter's in the back. She's like, Daddy. His daughter's talking the whole time too, right? Like, Daddy. And he's like, oh, that's not enough. He's like, all right, the moment you get to your Aunt Sarah's, you got to go to an ATM, get more money. You need to get food for 2 weeks, all right? Canned goods, everything you need, get everything you need that can last us for 2 weeks, all right? And then I'll be there the moment I can get out of here, okay?
Right.
And then she's like, oh my God, Robert, is it airborne? He looked at it, he's like, yeah. She's like, oh my God. And then, so the daughter's in the back still kind of talking like, Daddy, what? I don't want to go to Aunt Sarah, stuff like that. And then they're just kind of ignoring her. And then he cuts up on the radio, and the president is giving a speech. Mm-hmm. And then the daughter's like, Daddy, look, it's a butterfly. And they're like, hush, honey. And then the president's like, we are ordering a military quarantine of all of New York City. A complete, military quarantine. No one's allowed to evacuate other than certain people. Like,
right.
Or, God bless us all.
Right.
Kind of like, hey, New York, you're fucked.
You're fucked. Yeah, you're done.
You're in New York City, and you're just,
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh my God. And then he looks at her, he goes, I can fix this. He's like, this is ground zero. This is my site. We talked about this. And she's like, Robert, come with us. What are you doing? He's like, what am I doing? What?
I'm Will Smith.
Bitch, I punched an alien.
Yeah.
I moved from West Philadelphia.
Where I was born and raised.
You know what I mean? Like, he did some shit, man.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I'm not gonna let this happen. This is my site. And then right as that happened, bam, a zombie fucking smashes into the window. And he's like, ah! And then he wakes up.
Oh, fuck.
He wakes up in his real world, right? So
This
he
is
starts.
scary.
Oh, it's a great movie, dude.
Especially
It's fucking
'cause-
intense. It's really scary in the movie theater.
Yeah,
I
I can
terrified
imagine.
in the movie theater.
I can
remember
imagine.
That shit. It was like, what? So he starts working out. It's morning time now, right? Next day. Will Smith, hey, you were fucking ripped for this, man. Holy shit.
I'm assuming. I'm nodding.
They just show him doing a bunch of
In
pull-ups
agreement.
with his shirt off.
Yeah.
It's fucking pretty much.
Was that you
same
think that was
scene
you think that was
from
just
Ben
for you,
Affleck.
Deric?
It was.
Okay.
Literally the same scene in Batman vs. Superman where Ben Affleck's doing pull-ups.
Okay. Same
exact
scene.
Just why you're like, this nigga's jacked. Same thing. So he's doing a bunch of pull-ups. He's working out. And then it shows him like running on the treadmill and like the dog's on a treadmill next to him running as well. You know
That's
what I mean?
funny.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then he opens up a closet and he gets a bunch of guns and a bunch of like stuff for the day. Right?
Mhm.
Like he's like everything. And he's got all these different car keys, all these different keys for this. Like everything's so completely. You can tell he's just like a military.
Yeah, he's disciplined. He's a disciplined dude.
Everything is. That's why he survived. That's
why
how
he's
he's
here.
alive right now. Because
Yeah.
everything is so fucking in sync and military, and then he's so fucking smart, and he's really smart dude.
Mhm.
So he like gets a bunch of stuff. He grabs a tennis ball for Sam, the dog, and then he goes and gets in a big black Navigator outside. Right?
Okay.
Cuts on every little thing. The Bob Marley, Three Little Birds. Every little thing's gonna be all right. Blasting through New York City. So he's
Just
driving.
loud and
Loud
it's
as-
echoing.
Oh, it's blasting. It's echoing
Yeah.
through the entire city of New York. This song.
Okay.
He's driving. So he goes to a rental store, like a movie rental store.
Okay.
Like DVDs. Okay. And he goes inside and he's like, hey, good morning, Marge. Hey, what up, Fred? Like that sweater, man? They're mannequins. He's like, I'll see you inside, guys.
That's
Dead serious, bro. Yeah, it's funny though.
Ooh.
But like,
yeah,
so
but
he
at the same
walks in,
time,
it's
it
like,
it makes
whoa.
me feel really weird.
Yeah, so he walks
Yeah, I don't
in.
like that.
He walks in and he says hi to another mannequin, like, hey, what up, bro?
Mhm.
And then he goes to like the back and he starts looking for a DVD, and then he looks up at this woman mannequin and he kind of notices her, and then he's like sees her, and he looks like he's gonna say something. And he's like, and then he gets all shy and walks away.
Oh God, that's funny. That's really funny. That's really funny.
Yeah, he gets all shy and kind of like walks away, and then he goes and he gets some more DVDs, and then he goes up to the counter, and he's like,
Please tell me they argue about late fees.
no, he goes up to the counter. He's like, hey, Hank, hey, who's that girl? And then he stops and he's like, never mind. And then he's like, oh, you this? And then he leaves, right? And then he just leaves. And then the next scene, it's him and Sam. He's like in a cornfield and he's like picking like corn.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what am I supposed to say? Huh? Hello, you want to come back to my place to see some infected rats? And then he's quiet for a second. He's like, all right, tomorrow, I will say something, I promise. You know?
So this has been going on for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
a running thing.
yeah, this unrequited love.
that
he has for this
man
mannequin.
that does not move.
Yeah.
So he busts into like the next scene. He's busting into an apartment, right?
Mhm.
And then like him and they do the scan, and then it's cleared, and then they check it for supplies. Like
Mhm.
this is how he's so stocked up. So this is what he does
Okay.
every day. Until everything's like, so he's getting all the supplies, and then as he's looking, he sees like this little girl's room, and like he finds like spam and like these other things, right, that he can use.
Right.
And then he sees this little girl's room, and he's like, oh shit, and it just freezes him, and it kind of just fucks him up, and then he closes the door on it and he leaves.
Reminds him of his daughter.
Oh yeah. So next, you picked that up.
Oh,
Damn. Okay.
movie's
I
over.
don't think you'd get that. I guess we can leave. I don't
Yeah,
know.
all right.
I guess I
All right,
don't know. I
let's
mean,
go.
that was it.
Let's go. I didn't know I won. My team. Go my team.
So the next thing is like it's a voiceover, right?
Right.
And it's him on the radio, and he's like, "Hi, my name is Robert Neville. You know, I'm broadcasting on all frequencies."
So he does this every day.
Yeah, he's
probably.
like, "I'll be at Seaport Village every day at the pier." He said, "When the sun is the highest in the sky." He's like, "If anyone's out there that can hear me, anyone at all, please, you're not alone. I have food, I have shelter, I can protect you. Just know you're not alone.
Mhm.
You know, if anyone's out there." So he said, and that's on a loop, like all day, every day. You
That
know,
makes
on
sense.
all AM frequencies. It's just on a complete loop. So 4, like that's the next thing you hear is like 4, and then you see like he's hitting golf balls off a motherfucking jet into New York City. He's just hitting them, just smashing windows. 4, pow, he's just hitting them, and he looks at Sam. He's like, "Man, I'm getting fucking good." You know, he's just smashing.
And they're going far.
They're going far.
Yeah.
And then Sam kind of looks up, the dog, and she notices something, and then he's like, "What do you see?" And then he grabs the scope. And then he sees like a little deer. And so the next scene is them two running. Like they're fucking chasing it down, right? And they're fucking both running and they're doing commands. And then like the dog's going around the corner. They're bending the corner trying to get it. And then as they're trying to get it, they're running and running. And then the deer runs into like a abandoned building.
Right.
Really dark abandoned building. And then Sam's just like, he's like, no, Sam, no. And then the dog goes in there. He's like, no, God, Sam. And he gets to the front and he starts breathing hard. And he's like, fuck, Sam. And then he goes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And immediately everything's black. Everything. You can't see anything. Even on the screen, you can't see nothing. He's like, Sam. All you can see is this circle gun light. So all you can see is this little scope of a gun light. That's it.
Oh, Jesus.
That's all you can see. You can't see anything else. You can't see anything next to you. You can't. It's just this. That's even. It's all you see. Like,
I didn't know this movie was this freaky.
He's like, Sam. You know. And then he like pulls the gun up and he sees like his reflection on a mirror and he fucking almost shoots it. And he's like, and he freaks out. And he's like, I gotta go, Sam. He starts crying. He's like, I gotta go, Sam. I gotta go. And then he breathes and he like gets himself together. He's like, okay. And then he starts moving forward again, right? And he sees some blood on the ground. And it goes up some stairs. So he's like, all right, he starts following it. And he has like his hand on the light scope of the gun. So it's dark, and then all you see is like this every couple seconds.
Okay, so he's doing that. So he's clearly not trying to wake anything.
He knows what's up.
Okay.
Because it's blood on the stairs. So he knows, all right, this is fresh blood. Something just killed. So they're in here.
Right.
So he's doing that shit, and he's going up the stairs, right? And, you know, and then he sees like, he sees the deer's head. He gets up to the top of the stairs and he sees like the deer's head. So he keeps going. He sees the blood on the ground. And then he comes up on like $30 million on the ground. just millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
It's just
but it's useless now.
Just so much money.
Yeah.
Right? And so he sees that. And then as he's lifting, like he does the light on that and then he closes it. And then he lifts it up and he opens it again. And then as he opens it again, it's just like 40 of them. And they all have their back turned. They're all like, and they're like breathing. And he freaks out. And then he puts it back down and he's breathing. And the camera's kind of on his face. So you can kind of just see him. And he's breathing and he's sweating. And then they don't notice him. And he backs up and he's stepping over the money. And he's slowly backing up. And then they don't hear him. So he backs out. And he's like, Sam. And he finally sees it. And he hears the dog. He hears Sam whimpering. And she's like under some boxes. He's like, Sam, come on, let's go. Sam, let's go. And Sam's like, kind of just like this. He's like, Sam, let's go. And then Sam backs up. He's like, what are you doing? And then he freezes. And then he looks to the right. And as he looks to the right, and the thing's midair, like already midair jumping at him. And he puts 3 in him. He's like, Sam, let's go. And he's fucking running. You hear 40. You just hear like 50 of them. And you just hear a bunch of footsteps. And it's completely black. So the camera is just on his face, bro. And you just see Will Smith's face running in complete blackness.
Yeah.
And he's like, Sam. And he points the light at this motherfucking like little hole in the door. He's like, Sam, go through there. And then you see the dog bust through this little hole and gets out.
Right.
And he's like, and then right as you see like 5 of them about to grab him from the back, he busts through the motherfucking window. And then like a couple of them fall out with him. And he just lands on the ground. And then they burn up in the sun. And it burns them to death.
Oh, Jesus.
Crazy sequence, nigga.
Jesus.
Also, the trailer for the movie, why I saw the movie in the first place, because I saw that shit and I was like, what? You also didn't know what they were. They didn't let you know what it was.
Okay.
You just saw him being chased by something in the trailer.
Okay.
Just keep doing that, movies. Stop showing everything in the fucking trailer.
Oh, God. This is a lot more intense than I expected.
Great. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, this movie was amazing this morning.
This movie's scary?
It's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny.
It's like Rocky IV mixed with Boys in the Hood met Rocky IV.
All right. So 2 of the complete exact opposite movies at once.
Yeah.
All right. Doesn't make any sense, but keep going.
So he's setting up, like he's safe, right? He lands out. Mm-hmm. He's setting up a booby trap. He's doing all this shit, setting up this huge kind of booby trap, right?
Right.
With like using like a big car thing, and he tips it over, and he has this fucking rope, and then he fucking has like a little loop in the little part like right at the door where he ran into. You know what I mean? Then he goes back to the car and he's like, gotta pay attention, okay? He's talking to Sam. He's like, gotta pay attention. He's like, all right, stay here on this one. He's like, because you can still get infected, and I can't.
Okay.
Okay.
So something's up.
All right. And then he gets a thing of his own blood, gets like a little vial of it. Mm-hmm. And he goes, if I don't come back, by nightfall, just go. And the dog's like, and then he walks away. He leaves. So he goes back up to the thing and he puts like in the little noose kind of circle thing that he set up, the little bag, like all this big net thing. He puts the middle of the vial in it, cracks it with the back of the gun so the blood's kind of splattered on the thing.
Right.
Then he runs up on a car and he kind of just waits. He's waiting for a while. He's kind of got the gun on it. He's just waiting and waiting. And then you hear, and then you hear like click. And you hear the car kind of fall, and then you're, and then the thing like just scoops it up in a net and flings it out by him. And so now it's in a net, just like screaming, and then he fucking hits it with his gun, poof, like that, and knocks it out cold, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right, so he goes to start tying it down, and right when he's about to tie it down, you hear, and he looks up, and it's a motherfucking zombie thing, it's a vampire thing, and it's like out. So it's getting burned by the sun, and it's just looking at him like, and like just like that. And he's like, "What the fuck?"
Right. This is something new.
Yeah. And then it burns itself enough, and then it can't take it, and then it goes back in.
Ooh.
And he's just kind of like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
King zombie.
Back in his lab.
Yeah.
He's got her down. She's like breathing fast, but she's still out. You know what I'm saying? But she's just like to the table. And he's like, subject is female, likely 18 to 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? And then he does all these tests on her, and then he's like, confirmed she does have the KV virus, starting human trials now. So he injects her with the serum, that he was working on. Oh, I guess I forgot to tell you. It's kind of important. He goes, and then I forgot about this.
Yeah.
So he goes, remember when he goes down into the lab? He goes down into the lab the first time.
Okay.
If he goes down to this lab, right when he before they leave to go out, before all this happened.
Okay.
We're doing this little Tarantino way today.
Okay.
Before he leaves to go out and all this happened, right?
He goes to the lab.
He goes down the stairs. He has this full lab set up.
Okay.
Full lab. And inside the lab, he's like doing tests, and he's like commencing, test on, rat trials with the whoop. And like so he opens up this curtain and unveils all these rats.
They're all
zombie rats.
Okay.
So they're just attacking the glass, and he's like, and he's like doing like a voiceover thing, and he's like, symptoms don't work on any of these rats. None of the cures have worked. All 12 have either died or, nothing has happened. And then he's like, oh, other than compound 6 here, huh? And he kind of hits the glass. He's like, okay, compound 6. He's like, decreased anger, decreased pupil thing. He's like, all right. He's like, this is the next one we'll use on human trials.
Oh, so he goes and captures him, and he's trying to bring him back.
He's trying to bring him back.
Oh,
okay?
God.
What
if they don't want to be back?
That's what he's trying to do. So he's back in the lab. I told you that. And like he injects the girl with the serum.
Okay.
She kind of decreases for a minute, and he's like, oh, okay.
Oh, he starts to look more human?
She starts to look more human. She starts to breathe a little more normal and kind of like calm down.
Okay.
He's like, oh, something's happening here. Something's happening. And then right then she reaches up and tries to bite him. And she's like, she goes off, and then she screams one last time, like, and then she just dies.
Oh.
And then he's sitting there, and he's like,
well, that's disappointing.
Yeah, and he's just like, fuck, man. And then he looks like pissed and defeated, and then he injects her with adrenaline, and then she comes back to life. She's still passed out, but she comes back to life.
Right. Okay, so she doesn't die.
Yeah. And he just starts breaking a bunch of shit because he's just fucking pissed.
Okay. Why does he bring her back to life?
Well, because he's still running human trials on her.
Oh, so he's gonna inject her with more shit?
Yeah, well, he's trying to find a way to cure.
Okay. It's also weirdly cruel.
We'll get there.
Right, but I'm not okay. Okay, this is gonna come up. The ethics of him doing this. This is weird.
So he he's fucking trying to get the cure, and then he says serum 136 still does not work. Still no cure, and he's fucking pissed. So it goes back to him upstairs, and he's like doing a interview to himself on laptop, and he's like, day 1001. We came in close contact with the hive, and he's got the dog with him, and he's like, he says how he is still immune to air. He said the SAM is still immune to the air strains, but can still get infected when in contact.
How does he know that?
He did tests on her blood.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So he's
Okay.
like so that's still a thing.
And he's immune to it all.
He's like, I'm, still immune to it all, both airborne and touch.
Okay.
He's like, and he looks at the dog. He's like, can't go running into the dark, dummy. And then he's like, another failed test on another thing downstairs. Serum did not work. He's like, we're just fishing in the goddamn dark. And then he's like, oh, one behavior note. One of the, monsters came out and yelled in the sun, let itself be burnt in sunlight, showing that they have no longer, they have desensitized themselves and no longer are human. They are completely gone. That's what he thought.
Okay. That doesn't seem right at all.
He's like, human behavior is now non-existent. That's what he thinks. So, another flashback right now, okay? Mm-hmm. They're running through thousands of people. This is him in the captain suit with his family.
Okay.
Right? Him and his family. They're running through that and they're trying to get
Is
on
his captain suit like over the top captain suit?
No, he's like, he looks like a actual top captain because he's not over the top.
Oh, okay. Okay. So he looks normal.
Yeah.
All right.
Just military.
That's disappointing.
So you wanted to be in a Men in Black suit?
Yeah, I wanted to be like, this is ridiculous.
You wanted him to say, I make this look good.
Yeah.
You wanted that line?
Hell yeah, I wanted that. I want cool Will Smith, not like can actually have a day job Will Smith.
So he's running through, right? And his family's with him, and they're like trying to get on it's thousands of people trying to get on these ferries and helicopters to evacuate.
Yeah.
Everybody, the people who are trying to get through. Mm-hmm. And so they get up to the front finally, right? And they're doing these eye tests on people. Like they're scanning your eye to make sure you have it.
Yeah.
Because if it goes green, you can go through. If it's red, they push you out like to this other thing. Like they push you into these other people, right? So Will's family finally kind of get up to it, and they do Will, they do his daughter because he's holding her, and then they kind of walk through, and then they get to his wife, and then it goes like beep beep, and it's red, and they're like, sorry, ma'am, and they start pushing her off into where all the other diseased people are, and then he's like, whoa, hey, whoa, and she's like, well, honey, Robert, and he's like, whoa, hey, I'm Lieutenant Robert Noble, like, hey, and then they pull guns on him immediately, like, whoa, you got to relax, and he's like, I'm Lieutenant Robert Noble, what is happening here? And they're like, she went red. He's like, scan her again, and they're like, sir, she went red, we can't do that, and they're like, he's like, scan her again, stand down. He's like, stand down. Everyone stand down. I'm Lieutenant goddamn Robert Neville. I order you to scan her again. And they're like, scan her again. And they scan her again. And he goes, beep, beep. And it's green. And it's like, good. And he's like, crazy.
What?
Crazy.
What? That's how it's supposed to work.
Bro. So they go through, and then there's this she's cleared. And there's this lady crying with like blood coming from her eyes. And she's like, please take my baby. Please take my baby.
And the baby's red as well.
They didn't show.
Oh,
She's just like kind of holding her like, please.
So that baby's fucked.
Baby's dead.
Oh.
So then
that sucks.
A chopper lands for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then his number 2 guy's like, I won't take my eyes off him, Colonel. You can put my word on, bet my word on it. And he's like, all right, thank you, sir. And then, he's like, he puts his daughter in the helicopter, and then he's like, Daddy's gonna make the monsters go away, okay, sweetie? And then they do like a little like family prayer. And then right as they're about to leave, she goes, Daddy, Sam will protect you. Sam, protect Daddy. And he's like, well, I can't have a dog, sweetie. And they're closing the door. He's like, and then right as they're closing the doors, he has the dog in his hand. He's like, and then she's like, bye. And then she goes, look, Daddy, a butterfly. And he's like that. And he's like, starts crying. And he's watching the chopper take off, and he's just crying. And he wakes up to another day in Monsterville.
Good Lord.
Right?
Good Lord. This is a lot.
So he's watching more news. Mm-hmm. Then now he's watching more news about himself, and this is about like he's watching news about when the virus just took hold and how they're like, Robert Neville's on the case. We got Robert Neville and he's here, and he's like it was him trying to like.
So he has to now watch news about how he's kind of a failure.
Fucked up.
Yeah, and he just puts himself through that. That's not healthy.
You didn't hear him say, "Oh, I can fix this. This is my site." You can tell it's a clear thing where he thinks this is on him.
Okay.
Because it's also ground zero. This is where it started.
Okay. And
so he feels kind of at fault.
Do we know about the rest of the world, or is that going to come up?
So he's watching news and, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he looks over and he's like, it's my birthday today, to Sam, to the dog, right? And then the voiceover for the seaport thing starts playing again. And he's just kind of going around New York, and he's throwing the ball with Sam, and then he's fishing in the Met Museum in New York, like just fishing there, and he's just kind of going around while this thing's playing again. If anyone's out there, please, you're not alone, right? Mm-hmm. So he's driving, right? And he's like, he's talking to Sam. He's like, if you're planning a party, tell me now, okay? Because it was surprises, all right? I'm not, okay? So just tell me if you're planning a surprise. He's dead serious.
Right.
And then he looks to the right and he stops. And he backs his car up. And he sees, way down the street, it's Fred. The mannequin.
The mannequin?
From earlier.
Okay,
and he's
yeah.
in the middle of the street.
Oh man.
And he's like, he starts driving up on it. And he's like, hey, hey. And he gets kind of like far away enough where he parks and he gets out and he's got the gun. He's like, hey, what the hell are you doing out here, Fred? Fred, what the hell are you doing out here, Fred? Fred, answer me, you know? And he grabs his gun and he's like, he keeps screaming. He's like, Fred, I'm going to shoot you. Fred, don't make me shoot you. Okay. Why are you out here, Fred?
Oh, God, don't down Fred. Come on.
Why
Fred's
are you out here?
Fred's a good dude, man. Come on. He doesn't
Fred! And then he shoots him. Pop, 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 puts 3 in the mannequin.
God, Fred.
And he's like, damn it, Fred.
God damn it.
Why'd you do this, Fred? Damn it. You know, and he kind of feels bad. And he's wandering around. He's kind of confused. And he's in the middle of, it's New York, so all these buildings, and he's looking up, and then he starts panicking. He just starts shooting the windows.
Oh, God. He killed his friend.
Yeah,
I get it.
He's like, he just doesn't know he's like, what the fuck? And also, how that mannequin get right there?
That's a good point. That is a good point. That means
these
something
motherfucking zombies haven't touched the mannequin this whole 3 years.
That means, yeah, something is watching him or someone is watching him.
Someone knows.
Someone
Something's
knows.
up.
Yeah.
Something's way up.
Yeah, someone's in his world. What are you going to do, Will Smith?
So he's shooting the windows, and then
calm down, Will
he's
Smith.
scratching his head, right? He's scratching his head, and he starts slowly walking up on Fred.
Yeah.
He's still scratching his head, and he keeps looking around like, what the fuck is that? Something's up. And then he gets all the way up to Fred, and he looks at him, and he's like, all right. And then he steps up all the way to him, and he steps in like a puddle. And then he hears that sound from earlier, that click, zip, from his booby trap.
Yeah.
And then he looks over, and he sees a fucking taxi car that's kind of tilting, and it goes, shoop, falls, and then you hear the rope, and it fucking grabs his foot and flings him up, bow, and he slams his head on the back of the concrete, bow, like that, and then now he's just lifted in the air, dang.
Oh, shit.
And he fucking, like, blood starts dripping from the back of his head, and of course Sam's barking, the dog's like,
yeah.
And then he just fades out.
Oh, shit. What the fuck? Are these zombies smart?
Bro.
These are smart-ass zombies, then.
Beep, 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 beep. That's what's happening, right? So
Yeah.
you hear, that's what you hear is black. These are pretty smart zombies.
Yeah.
Or so we think. Beep, 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 beep. Right? So fucking Will Smith comes to and the dog's barking.
Mm-hmm.
Dog's barking. And he's like, what? So he cuts off his watch, and it's very close to dark now. It's like damn near night.
Okay.
Like I'm talking about, the sun is setting as we're talking. Like
okay.
So he's like, what the fuck? And he takes out his knife and he's trying to still come to, and then he leans like forward to like cut his foot, and then he finally cuts it off. And when he does, he like falls, of course.
Yeah.
And when he lands, he fucking lands on the knife, like, and it goes all the way through his leg, and it snaps. So he's completely screaming. He's just screaming.
Oh, God.
And he's holding his leg, and he's like, fuck. And he like it like he shows him, he tries to like pull it all the way out, but he can't.
Oh, because it's like bent.
Yeah. And so he's like, Sam, we gotta go. And he gets up to try and hobble, and he can't, so he just starts crawling, right?
Yeah.
And he's fucking doing this kind of crawl, like pushing back. And he's looking this way. And he's pushing back, and he's like, Sam, let's go. It's getting darker and darker. And then he notices the big dude that was screaming, that guy.
Yeah.
He sees him, and he's got 2 zombie dogs. And he's still in the building. Like, you can kind of barely see him. And he lets him go. And the zombie dogs start running. And he's like, Sam, let's go. And he starts backing up faster and faster. And then there's still like a little bit of patch of light, right?
So he goes
between
to
2
that.
buildings.
Yeah.
So the dogs get right up to that, zombie dogs right up to that, they stop. Because there's this patch of light between 2 buildings. But the sun is, so it's going like that. You see it going like this.
Okay. So Will Smith has a time limit right now.
He's backing up. He's like, Sam, let's go. He's backing up. And then finally he gets up and he's trying to like fucking like kind of hobble run. And he gets to the door and then it goes and the chase starts, bro. And they're fucking going after him. And he gets to the car, he grabs his gun, and he fucking turns around and one's right on him. He shoots one. Pow, 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 pow. And it lands on him, right? And then right as the other one's coming, fucking it's about to get him, Sam jumps on it. And he starts fighting. He's like, Sam, no! Because touch. And so the other one,
shit.
The other one comes up on him, and the other one's now like right up on him. So he's holding it like, and it's trying to bite him, and he's like that,
Right.
And he's looking at Sam, and he's like, Sam, no! Because Sam's getting bit up, but he's fighting the thing back. Sam's also biting it, like keeping it away from him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sam's sacrificing itself.
So yeah, so finally, herself. So finally he gets a gun, and he fucking kills it, and he kills the one with Sam, right?
Okay.
And he goes up to her, and she's whimpering,
Oh God, does he have to kill Sam? Is it one of those?
She's whimpering. She's like, and he's like, come on, I got you. We'll get you home. It's gonna be all right. He's like, we'll get you all right. It'll be all right. We'll get you home. And he gets her into the lab, right? So they're back in the lab, and then he's got her on the table, and she's kind of breathing. She just looks kind of docile as fuck. And then he injects her with the serum. The one that he's hoping can
can cure.
Trying to, at least.
Right.
The newest one.
Right.
Even though it didn't work last time, but he's like, fuck, it's...
Give it a shot. It
Yeah.
worked on the rat.
So...
It might work on Sam.
Maybe work on Sam.
Right.
So he sits it down and he starts singing Three Little Birds to it. You know, he's like, every little thing is gonna be all right. And he's kind of singing.
Man.
And he's petting
Bad
her
stuff
head.
happens when that song is playing.
Bro, he's petting her head. And then he's still singing like, every little thing is gonna be all right. And then he notices there's hair. All of her hair is starting to come out.
Okay.
And he kind of stops.
So she's about to get really
And then
aggressive.
he looks in her eyes. And then her eyes are all now like red.
Yeah.
And he opens her mouth, and her mouth is all like fucking looks like the zombies.
Yeah.
The color of it. And she's starting to change, and he's like, he starts crying kind of. And then fucking, you see her turn into a zombie, like right, and it just tries to bite its head off, and he fucking got it like this. And then it just zooms into his face.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. The way you do
Just
it
like
is
that, my
the
nigga.
way you do it is hilarious. But I don't I don't imagine the movie's trying to make me laugh at this moment.
Chokes her the fuck out, man.
It doesn't seem like a very happy moment, if I had to guess.
Definitely one of the saddest, probably the saddest part of the movie.
All right. Well, he kills the dog, so
Yeah.
hooray.
You're right about something.
So yay.
So the next day he's burying the
The dog always dies. Always
dies, bro.
Dog always dies.
So he's burying
Even-
this motherfucker. What?
Even in Marley and Me, that's not a story about survival.
God, that's a good movie though.
Yeah, dog dies.
Dead.
No zombies. Still
Same
dead.
dog. No.
Hey, yeah, and that actor. That
Didn't
actor,
work.
Yeah, very good range. What kind of dog?
Rottweiler.
Okay, I was imagining a golden retriever for
I
whatever
should have
reason.
said that.
Yeah, I was imagining a golden retriever, and then you were talking about how it attacked another dog, and I was like, I don't know.
But protecting its loyal.
It's loyal, yeah.
the only other living thing it's seen in 3 years.
Oh, that's true.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Well, you should have ate your vegetables, bitch. Just getting angry at the dog. Well, that's what happens when you run into a thing, huh? You learned your lesson.
so he buries the dog the next day. It's daylight. He's burying the dog. He's just fucking crying. He's broken. It's quiet. It's also silent.
Yeah.
A lot of this movie is really quiet. I should mention that.
That adds to
tone of the
scariness.
movie. Yeah, the tone of the movie. I mean, there's no one right. So the tone of the movie is very quiet, and there's not a lot of talking.
Right.
You know. So he's burying it, and then he's driving. It shows after he buries it. It shows him driving in the big black Navigator, and he's like he looks over in the passenger seat, and he's just crying. And he's just like defeated, you know, and he's just looking, and then he stops, and then he just kind of sits there like this. He's just crying, and then the camera pans back, and it just keeps panning back to all of New York, and it's just nothing. It's just him, just that black Navigator, and just silence. Absolute no noise whatsoever.
Oof.
It's scary
That's
shot,
scary.
bro. Really
That's
scary
really
shot.
scary.
That's one of the scary shots.
That's like everyone's worst fear.
Oh yeah. So he goes to the movie rental place,
Yeah.
and he limps up to the girl, you know, and he's like the girl mannequin, and he's like, I promised my friend I would say hello to you today. Hello. And then he's quiet, and he's like, hello. And he's just kind of standing next to it, and he's like, starts crying. He's like, please say hello to me. And he starts fucking really crying. He's like, please say hello to me.
Jesus. This is like, I don't even want to riff on this. This is so sad.
It's a good movie. So
Don't smile. What are you doing?
it's really good.
All right. So now the love of his life is not responding to him, which
Yeah.
is relatable. But
So it's nighttime.
yeah.
It's pitch black now, and he's flying down the street in this big black Navigator, and he's pissed. Anger, death in his face, just driving, right? He sets up this mannequin, like on the Seaport Pier, the thing he's hanging out all every day.
Right.
Sets up a mannequin over there, and you see all these zombies, and they're kind of just starting to run. They think it's him, and they're just running on it, like creeping, and then they all start sprinting, and then his headlights cut on, and he just fucking runs them all over. And he's like, die! Mowing them over, die! And then he flips a Yui, and then he sees more, and he flips and he hits them, fucking die! And he's just hitting them, right? And then they all start, like the big one jumps on it and smashes his window, because now he's kind of like spinning like this,
Right.
smashing his window, and then he knocks him off, like he gets him off, and then the big one tells two other ones to go, and they start running at him, and they fucking just hit at the same time, and they knock his car over. So now it's flipped over, right? And he's kind of like this on it, and he's just kind of like bleeding, and then the big one comes in, and it opens the window, like busts the window, and it fucking is like looking at him, and then it gets all the way up on its face, and right when it's about to bite his whole motherfucking face off, big lights hit. like big UV lights. And then he's like, and he fucking runs off, you know? And then she's like, you see like somebody kind of run up, and you kind of don't know who it is.
Oh, it's another person.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. It's been 3 years.
And then you just kind of see these big lights, and then you see he's kind of fading in and out. And you see somebody just grab him, and then he's kind of fading in and out. And then you see him in his car, like in a car.
Yeah.
And he's like, where are you? And she's like, you hear this like Venezuelan accent in like slow motion. Where do you live? Where you live? Like, because he's kind of faded.
Okay. Now, can I ask you a question?
What?
Do you find out that this person that's talking is Venezuelan, or you just pull Venezuelan accent out of your ass?
I pull a Venezuelan out my ass.
Okay.
She's the brownest person, and she kind of sounds like Francisco Ramos.
Why Venezuela?
So I think she is.
Okay. All right. So
that's the tone of the accent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you can tell the difference between a Venezuelan accent and any other accent in the area.
Yeah, you can feel it.
All right. So
when you watch it, tell me you don't feel it.
She's Venezuelan?
Yeah.
All right. I'll keep that in mind.
Keep it in mind.
I'll keep that in mind.
It's very important.
Okay. It's integral to the plot?
A little bit now.
Okay. Well, yeah.
So,
now to spite me, it's going to be. I know that.
So, like, he's still confused and past that, and she's like, where do you live? She's like, stay with me. And then he's like, Washington and Square, on 11th, And then he's like, they don't know where I live, so don't let them track me. He's like, stay out till sunrise, and then go. He's like, don't let them track me. And then he passes out.
Mm-hmm.
Flashback. Chopper's taking off. Remember?
Oh, with his family. Yeah.
And he's doing the butterfly thing. Mm-hmm. And he's got the dog, and he's crying, he's waving. And then all of a sudden, these 2 fucking missiles hit the bridge to get into New York City. Takes the whole bridge out.
Oh, so right? The government.
You see this other chopper trying to take off, and you see like 100 zombies running and jumping into the water trying to get on it. And like a couple of them do, and it starts spinning out of control.
Right.
And it's spinning and spinning and spinning. And he's like, no, no. And then right when it hits it's about to hit his family chopper, he goes, no! And he wakes up.
Jesus.
And Shrek is on.
Thank God.
Shrek 1.
I know, good Shrek. Good Shrek. The first 2 Shreks are pretty good.
Shrek 2 is amazing.
Yeah.
Shrek 1, but Shrek 2, man.
Shrek 2 is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
Ever.
Yeah. Shout out to Shrek 2.
Shout out to Shrek 2, bro. Shout out to Shrek 2.
Yeah.
Mike Myers, Eddie. So he's kind of like, what the fuck is going on? He panics. Mm-hmm. He grabs a gun. Like, right, he goes and grabs a gun, and he hears people in the kitchen cooking and like eating.
Mm-hmm. Classic Venezuelan stuff.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
How you know. So he walks up slowly, and then he has the gun, and he looks up, and they all freeze. And like at first, he sees like his black wife and his black kid,
mm-hmm.
and then he like blinks, and he sees
his white wife and his white
his
kid.
Venezuelan kid. And this white kid.
Okay.
Well, she looks like she's like a mix between something like Mexican or something, something. Yeah, and then the kid is white.
Okay.
And then they're kind of sitting there frozen for a minute, and then he sets his gun down like that to show like, all right, And then she tells him, she's like, I cooked breakfast. She's like, there's powdered eggs. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I was going through your stuff. And she was like, I'm sure you already know they're powdered eggs. She's like, but I found real bacon. She's like, I can't believe you have real bacon. Like, oh my God. So we cooked that up. That's just a godsend. Who would ever think anybody have real bacon at a time like this? She's like, right. Thank you for that. And he's kind of just like, okay. She's like, will you sit down? And she's like, eat with us. She's like, your leg also, it needs to do this. She's like, clearly knows how to handle wounds. She's like, your leg needs this, that, and the third.
Well, Venezuelans are famous medics.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
You've seen Modern Family.
Right.
I think she's Venezuelan. I don't know what she is. Her name has a V in it. So I'm like, Vergara, Venezuela. That's how that works.
All right.
So, he's like kind of freaking out. And it's a brown woman, mm-hmm. white son. And she, he's like, kind of just like, what?
What's happening?
And so he's sitting down and he's eating to eat with him. And she's like, we came from Maryland. We heard your message on the radio. She was like, we waited at the port all day, but you didn't show up, but we're so excited to meet you. And hopefully we can, now you can get us to Vermont. We heard we can go to Vermont with the survivors colony. And then he's like, what? There's no survivors colony. She's like, there's no survivors colony. The first thing he's like, there's no survivors colony. Everyone's dead. And then she goes, no. There's a survivors colony. There's this. She's like, and I think tomorrow after we can eat enough, we'll go there. And he's like, shut up. And he breaks the dishes. And then they get up, of course, and she grabs her son. And she's like, what the fuck? He's like, everybody's dead. Everybody, that I know is fucking dead. And she has the gun on him, and she's just like, what the hell? And then he's like, I just need a minute. I was saving that bacon. I was really saving that bacon.
Well,
that's what he said.
Well, you shouldn't have got yourself fucked up. That's
like,
your fault.
He's like, can I go upstairs? He's like, I just need a minute, please. Like, don't shoot. I just need a minute. And she's like, okay. He goes upstairs. So he comes downstairs in a little bit, and Shrek is still on, right? And so when he comes downstairs, they're kind of like looking at him, the girl needs, because they don't know how he's going to react, and she's got her hand still close to the gun. Like, what are you going to do?
Right.
And then he goes, are you talking to me? And then he looks around, and he's like, man, those gods, they thought they was all that. And then you showed up and was like, bam! Man, they was tripping over themselves like babes in the woods. And he starts quoting the entire Shrek movie line for line. Will Smith. This is Will Smith, by the way, not Deric. This is Will Smith.
Yeah, not you.
I know you were like, is Deric quoting just Shrek right now? No,
Yeah.
I didn't just jump to Shrek.
He starts
Will Smith
quoting Shrek.
Starts quoting Shrek line for line. Say, hey, I know. I'll just kick it with you. That whole scene, you know, where Shrek
with the donkey.
Where they meet.
Yeah.
He's doing that entire scene.
Okay.
You know, and then they.
Oh god, it's like this podcast within this podcast.
Yeah, so my favorite part of this was to get to this moment.
Okay. Do Shrek.
I live alone. That's what he said. It was that scene. I'm pretty sure he's like, I live. And so, you know, and he looks at him. They're kind of smiling, like looking at him. And he's like, I like Shrek
a lot.
Yeah, I really like Shrek. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So they smile. So him and the girl the Anna woman, they go into the kitchen together, mm-hmm. and they're talking. And she's like, so you're not so good with people, are you? Mm-hmm. And he was like, listen, thank you for my leg. Where have you been? You know?
Right.
And she was like, we were on a ship, whoop, whoop. And then he was like, oh, the ships. He's like, yeah, because he knew all the plans in every system. So she was like, I came from this country. I forgot where she came from.
Venezuela.
Yeah,
we got it covered. We got it covered.
He was like, oh, the ships. He's like, yeah, the ship system, those broke down fast. So we didn't know it was airborne, and it just took over the ships really quick. And she was like, yeah, only 5 of us were immune, but we made it to sea. And she's like, you said there were 5. And she was like, the Dark Seekers got the rest. He was like, fuck.
The Dark Seekers?
That's what they call them.
That's what they call them.
Yeah.
All right.
And she's like, it's too late today, but I think we can leave tomorrow. He's like, whoa. Leave where? She's like, to go to the survivors colony. He's like, I'm not leaving. This is ground zero. This is my site. I can fix this. You know? And so they go downstairs. It takes her downstairs to the lab. And, you know, she sees one up close for the first time. She's like, I've never seen one up close and still before. And then he's like, you know, yeah. He's like, you know, she's heavily sedated. Don't worry about it. You can look at her. And she's looking at her, and then she looks on the wall, and she sees like a bunch of pictures of like specimens like her.
Right.
Thousands. Tens of thousands of pictures.
Yeah, this guy is
all
like
over
this
the wall.
Weird zombie Mangala.
Well, he's trying to find a cure.
Right.
Trying to save humanity.
This is very Nazi-esque.
So he's seeing all these pictures, and she was like, oh my God. She was like, are these all, you know, were these all people? She's like, yeah. And she's like, are they all dead? And he's like, yes. He's like, oh my God. And she grabs her mouth. And she's like, no, Anna, God didn't do this. We did. And he's like, just pissed, right?
Yeah.
And she kind of just,
it
just fades to black. Like, oh, she's like, what? And it cuts. So the next scene, he's taking like Ethan asleep, the little kid. Mm-hmm. He's sleeping. He's taking him upstairs to his daughter's bedroom. And so he lays him down, and Anna's looking at like all her daughter's pics. Mm-hmm. She's like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. Like, what was her name? And then he was like, Marley. And then she was like, oh, that's such a beautiful name. And she was like, yeah, you know, we named her after Bob Marley. And then she said, who? And he said, you know, Bob Marley. Bob, you know, Bob Marley. We named her after the reggae singer, Bob Marley. And she said, Damien?
Wait, what?
And he said, no. His father? You know, Bob Marley? Yeah. And she was like, I don't know who that is. So you don't know who Bob Marley is? She was like, no, I don't know. And he was like, oh, that is unacceptable. And then he goes and he's like, best album of all time. He plays the song. Mm-hmm. And he's like, Bob Marley. She's like, why I named my daughter to Bob Marley? He's like, he believed he could cure hate and racism with music and love. And one day before this big protest concert and whatever, like wherever he was, some country, he was like, they told him that if he goes on stage, like he got all this hate mail. And from all these people, thousands of people, they say, if he goes on stage, they're all going to kill him. Right?
Venezuela, I assume.
Yeah. Or wherever he was. Yeah. But there's still way more, you know, and then Bob said he was still going to go out and perform. And when the news media asked him why, he said, the people who are trying to make this world worse aren't taking a day off. So how can I?
Ooh.
It's a Bob Marley quote.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And so he's like, light up the darkness. That's what Bob Marley, light up the darkness. And then the background of the song kicks in, dear darling, stir it up. And they're kind of just listening to it. Stir it up. You ever heard that?
No, I haven't. I'm on the same boat as her, pretty much. I know who Bob Marley is.
You know who Damien is more?
Yeah, you know how it is. You know how Damien's huge career. I don't really know his songs, but I didn't know who Bob Marley is. But we're in the same boat.
So they start locking up the doors, all the windows shit, right? Mm-hmm. And then she begs him. She's like, please go to the colony with us tomorrow, Robert. It exists. It's real. And he's like, there isn't one. And she's like, I know there's one. I know that it exists. I know there's a survivors colony in Vermont. We have to go. He's like, how do you know? How? Tell me how you know. She's like, I just know. He's like, no, tell me, Anna. How do you know? And she's like, God told me. And he was like, there is no fucking God. There is no God. And he goes off on this whole thing.
Strong argument in this world.
Yeah.
Very strong argument.
He goes off on this whole thing, and then she tells him, she was like, but somebody told me. She's like, I know there's a God. He told me to meet you. He told me to come cut the radio on, and I did, and I heard your voice. She's like, he told me to meet you at the pier. He's like, no, that was my voice. I told you to meet you at the pier. She's like, yeah, but when I did, you were trying to kill yourself. She's like, and I saved you. She's like, it's all part of God's plan. We're here for a reason. She's like, the world is quieter now. She's like, it's our job to listen and hear him when he talks. And then he goes off. He's like, God's plan? He's like, you want to listen to God's plan? He's like, there's 6 billion people in the world. There's 6 billion people on Earth. 4 to 5 million of them contracted the KV virus, died immediately, flatline, poof, dead, bled out, just like that. He said the other 588 million, he said the other, he said out of that, people who were left, 12 million were healthy people who were immune to the virus, touching air like you and me. He said, and the other 588 million turned into dark seekers, the things that you know. And he said they fed on everyone, all the other 12, everyone else who existed, all the animals, everything, until it was just you and me. Everyone's dead. Everyone's fucking dead. There is no fucking God. There is no God. He's yelling all this stuff. He's going off.
How can you believe everyone's dead at this point when 2 people just showed up?
Yeah.
Well, I guess after 3 years, your logic is allowed to be fucked up.
Yeah.
But also Will Smith, come on.
Also, the way everyone died immediately. So also for everyone, you just go from being like, oh, there's a lot of people to you're alone, just alone
in New York City,
just like that.
Ooh.
In a matter of days.
Yeah. This one's making me feel uncomfortable.
Good. You deserve this.
What?
Don't talk bad about Rocky IV.
I didn't talk bad about Rocky IV. I'm just saying I could never watch it again. It'll be fine.
So as he's going off about God, he hears something outside. He's like, wait, what is that? And then he hears something again, and he's like, did they follow you here? And she's like, no, I stayed up till sunrise. He's like, they had to follow you, and he goes, and then he's like, turn off the lights, and he cuts off the lights, and he peeks outside. And he's like, they followed you, and he cuts on these huge, all these surrounding UV lights that he has surrounding his place.
Yeah,
they all cut on, and then he realizes they're way closer than he thought because they just immediately start crawling up and they bust him out. They bust him out right when he cuts him on. He's like, no. And then she's like, Ethan. So she runs upstairs to go get her son, right?
Yeah.
And then so right then he goes and he gets this big bomb generator thing out and he fucking he charges up all the things and he goes, and he fucking hits it. And then all the cars that are outside of his place explode. One by one. Just chain reaction. And it's just fucking the loudest thing. It's just huge explosion, killing hundreds and hundreds of those monsters.
Okay.
Hundreds of them, just killing a bunch of them, right? So he gets up. And he's kind of wobbly, and he's like, Anna. And he's walking up the stairs slowly, and it's, of course, you hear all the other car alarms outside kind of going off, and it's everything's red and smoky just from the glare of all the fire outside.
Right.
And he goes upstairs, and he looks into his room, right, and he realizes one of his windows is covered in blood, and the things are open like that.
Oh shit!
And then he looks in, and it's the big one, and it just fucking throws him against the wall. Boom! And it fucking takes a bite out of him, huge bite out of his shoulder, and it just starts dragging him into a room, and his legs are kicking, and it drags him into his room, and it's just beating on him, and it's biting on him, and Will's trying to get off, and it's slamming him against the wall, and then it throws him down a bunch of stairs, right? And when Will lands down the stairs, the thing starts jumping over the rails and starts coming down, He looks to his right and he sees he has a gun in the umbrella thing.
Right.
Grabs a gun, pulls it out, and then the thing starts dodging the bullets quick because they move crazy fast.
Right.
So he's like, he's shooting at it. He's like, and it's dodging him, right? And so he's going through the house and now he's trying to find it. And then he sees it, and he starts shooting, and then he runs it up the stairs and he runs and he's following it, shooting, and then he chases it out, right? And it goes out where he came in. And so he's like, Hannah. So he sets that gun like down. And he runs upstairs. He's like, Hannah. And he looks in the kids' room. They're not in there. And then he kind of keeps going upstairs and he looks into another room. And he kind of sees it's a dark seeker and it's tearing the roof out of the wall. So all the zombies can come in.
Right.
And so it's tearing this roof out the wall. Right. And as it's doing that, he notices that he hit a gun like under like a pitcher under the room. So he's like, if he can get and he sees that they're under a dresser.
Oh, so they're hiding.
They're hiding. And so the thing doesn't notice him yet. And then the Ethan kid kind of makes a whimper, like it breathes. And then it hears him. And then she covers its mouth. And then it kind of drops down from the ceiling. And right as it drops down from the ceiling, Will jumps in. And he grabs the gun. And he jumps on the bed. And he puts 3 in him, right? And kills it. And then right as it screams really loud, like, ah! He puts 1 in its head.
Okay.
Okay? So now he's like, and he looks out the window. And then he sees it's the big one. And he's like, thousands upon thousands start rushing the house.
Fuck.
Flood. He's like, get to the lab, right? They fucking flood the roof. So they all go down to the lab, right? So he shows the girl and Ethan, they run into the lab first. Mm-hmm. And Will's closing the locking the door behind them to the lab. And they run, he's like, get behind the plexiglass. And they run behind this like bulletproof plexiglass. And then the girl's, remember the body that was there?
Right.
She looks at it and she goes, oh my God. She's like, Robert. And then he comes over and he looks at it. And he's like, oh my God. She's back to normal. And they see her and because they put her on, when they were downstairs,
right.
he said that he was going to try putting her on ice. Remember when she was like, you killed all these people?
Right.
He said something, he's like, I'm going to put this one on ice to see if maybe that, he just kind of threw it as a throwaway. You barely even heard. He's like, I'm going to put her on ice, see if maybe that does something to the serum. He's like, because I think this should work. I just don't know what's holding it back.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he puts her on ice. They see her. She's completely going back to normal. Her heart rate, everything's working. Like she's completely being fine. Like going back to normal.
Right.
And it's like, oh my God. And then right as they're noticing that, the fucking, all the zombies just bust in the door. And he closes the plexiglass as they rush in and he closes it and he locks it just in time. And they all bounce off like boom. And they all start trying to smash into it.
But they all keep bouncing off.
And he's like, wait, hey, stop. He's like, I can fix you. Listen to me, please. Let's just listen. I can fix you. And they just ram it into it, right? They're ramming into it. And then finally the big one comes and he starts throwing the other ones off, like away from the door, just throwing them. And he's like, ah! And he starts doing, he's like, and he starts running to it, and it starts slowly cracking. You know?
Jesus.
And he's like, I can fix you. It's like, stop, listen, I can save you. And it just goes, ah, boom, ah, boom. And then kind of the sound comes out, and you just see him smashing, and the glass just breaking, and it's just smashing, and it's just no sound. He's just looking at it, and he's just like, he doesn't know what to do. And it's just nothing. And then he hears in his head, look, Daddy, a butterfly. And then he looks down, and on the back of her neck is a butterfly tattoo. The Anna chick. And she's holding her son tightly, and he's looking at that butterfly tattoo, and he smiles. And he's like, he realizes, so he takes a thing of his own, like, blood, takes a vial of his own blood, and he opens up this safe, and he's like, you guys get in. And then he hands him the vial, and she's like, take this. And she's like, what are you doing? And she's like, I got it. He's like, they're not going to stop. So stay in here till sunset. Stay in here till tomorrow's sunrise, and don't come out until tomorrow's sunrise. No matter what you hear, don't come out. He's like, it's like, don't worry, I'll take care of this. And she's like, but Robert, she's like, why? What are you? What's happening? Why are you doing this? And he's like, I just started listening.
Oh.
And then, like, she's like, what? And then he closes this vault and locks them into this vault, right?
Right.
Then he turns back around and the main guy's still smashing. He's cracking into it. And then he opens up a drawer slowly and he pulls out a picture and he looks at it and it's his family. And he keeps looking at him and he's still smashing. And then he puts the picture down and he pulls out a hand grenade, pulls the pin. And then he's just eyeballing that motherfucker. And they're looking at each other. And then finally he backs up one last time. He's like, ah! And he runs at the glass and then Will Smith runs back at the glass. Ah! And they fucking, and the bomb, and everybody blows up.
Is that the end?
No. So, right? Crazy, right?
Yeah. What?
Crazy. Absolutely crazy, right?
God. Yeah. Okay. He did this. Okay. He killed himself. So Will Smith is dead.
Will Smith's dead.
Will Smith is dead.
Next
So
scene,
is Big Guy.
everyone.
Everyone's dead.
They blew up the house, so the house would have been exploded.
Okay.
You
So,
know?
but the safe is
Safe, yes. It was like a black vault, like an emergency bomb safe. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
So he couldn't have just tossed the grenade and then closed it behind him. He couldn't have just like waited till they emptied the glass. Like he couldn't have waited until they broke the plexiglass, and he just threw the grenade and then closed the vault.
Maybe it was just too risky. Also, it wasn't of the kind of vault you can think of. It was very small.
Okay, so he wouldn't fit.
I mean, the way they got it, because they sit in,
Mm-hmm.
and they're both like, so she's in like this, and he's in like this looking at her.
Okay.
So it doesn't look like he'd have been able to fit. But
Okay,
But it
okay.
doesn't look like he was wanted to do it anyway. I don't think he wanted to.
He's
live.
like, I'm gonna die with this house.
Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah, that's it. He was
My
holding on.
family's dead, man.
Yeah.
He just, and also he realized all he wanted. I remember he just wanted the cure. I don't think he wanted to live. I think he wanted to just do his job. He was a Marine. He's doing his job.
Okay, and then afterwards,
His job was ground zero.
and he finally did it.
He finally did it. Finding a cure was his job. That was his duty.
Okay, but then now no one can do anything with the cure.
So next day,
Okay.
beautiful trees. You see a car. The navigator is driving, and it's Anna and her son Ethan. They're driving to these beautiful trees up through Vermont, and they get to a big, huge metal doors, and they stop and they get out, and they kind of walk up to it. Huge metal doors, and then they get up right there, and then it scans them, and then it like okays them, and then they opens up, and they come in, and there's an entire town. Full on town
Of regular people.
everyone, just,
Yeah.
military, people who are like, they have advanced door, like they're clearly set up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then she does a voiceover, like how he's been doing those voiceovers, right?
Right.
And she goes, a few years ago, a virus fucked us up.
It really kicked our asses.
It really kicked our asses.
Yeah.
But Dr. Robert Neville dedicated his life to finding a cure. And she was like, and on September 9th, 2008, 8:49 p.m., he found that cure. And she said, and at 8:52 p.m., he gave his life to defend it. She said, we are his legacy. This is his legend. Light up the darkness. Fades to black. I am legend, nigga.
Whew. Man, that was very intense.
Very intense.
That was a lot more intense than I went into this being like, I Am Legend's gonna be fun, and then 20 minutes in, I was like, what is happening?
It's a great movie, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy. It all takes place in like a small little area. He talks to the girl, thank God. He does it.
He does too.
You know what I mean? He found it within himself to find that courage, and then
Bro, you want to even know some more crazy shit.
Right.
The book ending is different.
ooh, how does the book end?
On some dope ass shit.
Well, tell me, we're here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The book ends, so you know how like they were like the whole time these niggas were fucking like it seemed like they kind of knew, they kind of had their own society going. Like you said, it was like, oh, he's kind of doing some Hitler shit, like some Holocaust kind of shit, right?
Right.
So he's gathering up all these specimens and trying to find a cure for his own people, but at the same time he's killing all these things.
Yeah.
So at the end of the movie, in the book, when they're busting through the glass, he's like, I can fix you, right? They do bust through the glass,
Yeah.
and they don't kill him.
Really?
They arrest him, and he grabs his girl. He gets his girl. They arrest him. They take him back to their own place. They have their complete own society. They put him on trial for murdering hundreds of thousands of their people, and then they execute him.
Shit.
And he's the bad guy. And he of course breaks down at the end because he realizes he was the villain the whole time. And then this is the new society. This is now how people are going to live on.
That's a way better ending.
Of course, it's a book. You read books, right?
Yeah. It's just, you know what it is? Why do movies do that? The book is great. You don't need to add your own twist to it.
The movie was great. The movie was fine. Bro, the movie's great up until, not because now act like the movie's bad now that you know. If I would have never not told you that, you wouldn't have not known that.
I was still in it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say, but it is like that ending is like way better.
Yeah.
It's a way more complete
everyone
story.
says that after they've seen the movie. If you don't know, it's not like you watch it and go, oh, that ending shit.
Okay.
Because it's not. You watch the
Okay,
movie.
it's a hopeful ending.
It's just a hope. Bro, there's the ending I just told. It's literally going to watch and go, oh, that's the ending Deric just said.
Okay.
It's not like it's going to be.
I don't think you're lying to me.
No, it's not cheesy. There's nothing in the movie that's cheesy. There's nothing in the movie that's like, oh, this is bull. You're not going to watch it, oh, this is a bull. It's just you find out the real ending and you go, why did it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, they do that all the time. Movies do that all the time. Have you ever?
But most of the times the ending is bad.
Yeah.
This is one of the rare occasions where it's like, no, the ending's not bad. It makes sense. Everything flows.
Or
it's just
I just don't
they didn't have
understand
to do it.
the need to change stuff. I guess because they're like, if this is gonna be a blockbuster movie, we got to end it.
That's why. Because it's like, I mean, it was one of his biggest movies.
But with World War Z, I think we talked about this. World War Z 2, the movie is a completely different story than the book.
Absolutely.
It's like, what the fuck?
Well, this one, I mean, the book's kind of similar. It's just the ending. The ending. But I mean, the book's it's just a book. But the movie is off the shit, man. And when you watch this movie. If you don't think, I'd be very curious to know if you don't think it's all, because it's so much more intense than how I described it.
You know what? Yeah, I was expecting this episode to be way more lighthearted, and now that we did this, I was like, oh man.
We've had a bunch of lighthearted episodes, nigga. I needed to turn you up on one.
Yeah, I'm like,
you needed to watch something real.
It's like really intense. He's
you're gonna watch it. It's gonna scare that's why it's also like, oh, you're not gonna be cheesy because it's gonna scare the fuck out of you.
Oh God. You
should also watch it in the dark.
I should.
Way better. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's good movie. It's action.
All right.
It's not just scary. It's action.
I'll watch it in the dark and I'll be afraid.
Be a fucking turns you up, man.
Oh well. We'll see you next week.